Hey there, horror enthusiasts, and welcome back to our channel. With Halloween right around the corner, we've got a special treat for you today. 4 bone-chilling, true Halloween horror encounters that will make your skin crawl and have you double-checking your locks. Our first tale takes us to a cozy suburban neighborhood where a young family was gearing up for Halloween night. They just moved into their dream home, an old Victorian house, which had been vacant for many years. The parents decided to host a Halloween party to meet their new neighbors, and the night was filled with laughter and spooky decorations. As the evening wore on, one of the partygoers noticed an antique mirror in the corner of the room. The mirror was intricately carved with ornate details, and it seemed like the perfect addition to their Halloween decor. They had no idea about the dark history behind it. After the party, they decided to keep the mirror, not realizing that it had once belonged to a woman who was rumored to have been a witch. As Halloween approached, strange things began to happen. Lights flickered, and the temperature in the room dropped dramatically. The family even reported seeing a mysterious, shadowy figure reflected in the mirror. One night, as they were getting ready to sleep, the parents heard their child's laughter coming from the living room. When they rushed downstairs, they found the child, alone in front of the mirror, talking to someone only they could see. Terrified, the family decided to research the mirror's history, and they discovered its connection to the alleged witch. Desperate to rid themselves of this eerie presence, they consulted a local paranormal expert. The expert conducted a ritual to cleanse the mirror and break the connection with the spirit. From that day forward, the mirror remained quiet, and the family could finally enjoy Halloween without the haunting mirror's disturbing presence. Our second story is The Vanishing Trick-or-Treater. Halloween night is all about children going door to door, seeking candy and treats. But in one quiet neighborhood, there's a chilling tale that parents tell each other to this day. In this neighborhood, Halloween was a cherished tradition. Families decked out their homes with elaborate decorations, and children roamed the streets in various costumes. On one fateful Halloween, there was a new face among the trick-or-treaters, a young girl dressed as a porcelain doll. Her costume was incredibly detailed, complete with rosy cheeks and glassy eyes. Her silence and stillness were eerie, but her porcelain doll appearance was undeniably captivating. As she approached each house, residents were taken aback by her costume, praising her dedication. However, as the night progressed, something unsettling began to happen. Neighbors started to realize that they had seen the girl at multiple houses, but they couldn't recall her ever leaving one house to visit the next. It was as if she appeared out of thin air each time. This growing unease eventually led the residents to compare notes and share their unsettling observations. As they did, they realized that they had all seen the girl, but she had never been seen entering or exiting a single house. Porcelain Doll Girl became the stuff of neighborhood legends, as no one could explain her mysterious appearances. To this day, the residents continue to swap eerie stories, all revolving around Halloween night when the silent trick-or-treater seemed to vanish without a trace. Our third story is The Terrifying Trail of Jack-o'-lanterns. It's a chilling tale from a small town known for its spectacular Halloween celebrations. The centerpiece of the town's festivities was a massive pumpkin patch where families could pick their own pumpkins to carve into jack-o'-lanterns. One year, a group of friends decided to partake in this beloved tradition. They arrived at the pumpkin patch, ready to select their pumpkins and create the spookiest jack-o'-lanterns for their Halloween party. As they roamed through the rows of pumpkins, they stumbled upon a peculiar area that was overgrown and filled with decaying pumpkins. Despite its neglected appearance, they decided to explore this section of the pumpkin patch and see if they could salvage some of the pumpkins. The air grew cold, and a thick fog began to settle around them. They couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. As they started picking pumpkins, they noticed something unnerving. Each pumpkin they touched oozed a black, foul-smelling substance. They should have left right then and there, but an inexplicable urge compelled them to continue. They decided to carve the pumpkins they had chosen, hoping that the transformation from gory pumpkins to grinning jack-o'-lanterns would dispel the sense of dread. But as they began carving, they found that the inside of the pumpkins was filled with grotesque, writhing worms. Horrified, they threw the pumpkins aside and made a hasty exit from the overgrown section of the pumpkin patch. They reported their strange encounter to the local authorities, but when the authorities investigated, they found nothing out of the ordinary in the neglected area. To this day, the friends are haunted by the memory of the decaying, worm-filled pumpkins and the overwhelming feeling that something malevolent lurked in that forsaken corner of the pumpkin patch. Before we conclude, we've got one more spine-tingling tale to send shivers down your spine. Brace yourself for the haunting of Harrow House. Our final story takes place in a remote countryside town where an old, desolate mansion known as Harrow House had long been abandoned. The locals had always whispered stories of the place, tales of ghostly apparitions and eerie happenings that dated back generations. One Halloween night, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to test the legends. Armed with flashlights, they ventured into the decrepit Harrow House, eager to prove the existence of the supernatural. The atmosphere inside was oppressive, with decaying wallpaper, creaking floorboards, and shattered windows that cast eerie shadows. The group began to explore the mansion room by room, the tension in the air palpable. As they delved deeper into the house, they started to hear strange whispers, like faint voices carried on the wind. A sense of dread weighed heavily on them, but they pressed on. In a dimly lit room on the top floor, they stumbled upon an old, ornate mirror. The mirror was covered in layers of dust and grime, its frame adorned with intricate carvings of strange, otherworldly beings. They decided to clean it to get a better look. As they wiped away the dust, they were horrified to see a reflection that didn't belong to any of them. In the mirror, they saw the image of a forlorn woman, her eyes filled with anguish. She reached out towards them, her spectral hand pressing against the glass. Panic gripped the group as they realized they were not alone in that room. They tried to flee, but the mansion seemed to have a malevolent will of its own. Doors slammed shut, and the corridors shifted, disorienting them. They were trapped, and the spectral woman in the mirror continued to beckon them, her ghostly voice filling their ears. As they desperately searched for an escape, they encountered other apparitions, faces of long-forgotten residents who had met tragic ends within Harrow House. The spirits seemed to relive their final moments, a never-ending loop of torment. Finally, in a moment of desperation, they remembered a local legend about Harrow House, that the spirits could only be appeased by solving a riddle etched into a hidden panel. They raced against time, hunting for the panel and deciphering the riddle as the ghosts closed in. With seconds to spare, they solved the riddle and unlocked the hidden passage leading to freedom. Gasping for air, they stumbled out of Harrow House, shaken to their very cores. To this day, the teenagers remain haunted by the harrowing experience and the ghostly images they saw in that cursed mirror. Harrow House still stands, a grim reminder of the horrors that lurk in the shadows, waiting for those daring enough to venture inside. And there you have it, 3 terrifying, true Halloween horror encounters that will have you questioning the safety of your own Halloween traditions. If you enjoyed these tales, don't forget to like button and subscribe. Thanks.